presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Hump Day, getting ready for a road trip. Oregon practicing inside Autzen Stadium this morning. We've got Dan Lanning after that practice today to kick things off. Also, our sideline reporter Dusty Harrah will be with us getting ready for that road trip to Rutgers. 3:30 kick, 1:30 pregame show for us across the Oregon Sports Network. Our coaches show tonight featuring Drew Maringer, co-offensive coordinator, tight ends coach Drew Maringer will join us 7 o'clock across the Oregon Sports Network. You can watch the show via the Go Ducks YouTube and the Oregon Football social media channels. We'll also be chatting with Bear Alexander. Has played great along the defensive front for the Ducks. Huge addition, figuratively and literally, to Oregon's defensive line. I look forward to catching up with Bear Alexander here in the Country Financial Studio as part of our Toyota Coaches Show this evening at 7 o'clock. Cross-country team with some honors. Also, Tracy Joyner will join us, head coach for the Oregon soccer squad, following a up-and-down weekend. And we'll break that down where Oregon soccer fell 1-0 to the number 22 team in the country in Ohio State last weekend, and then was up 2-1 at Penn State, a team with 20 Big Ten championships to its name. Ducks had a late injury, and with just a few minutes left on the clock, Penn State tied it. And you're like, it's still a point on the road. That's good, but Ducks had a chance for a win, and now they're back at home this week. A lot to break down for Oregon soccer with Tracy Joyner. Bear Alexander also met with the general media talking Oregon football, along with Malik Benson, Brandon Finney, Pancho Lalulu. That's all coming up today and tomorrow here on Duck Insider. Programming note for you. We will do the show on Friday from 9:30 to 10:30. For those of you who watch the show live via the Go Ducks YouTube or the Go Ducks Facebook page, we will do Duck Insider's video stream live from 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning because we got a flight to catch. Headed to Rutgers with the Oregon football team for that 1:30 pregame show and 3:30 kickoff against the Scarlet Knights. After practice today, Dan Lanning, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center, better cancer care close to home. Head coach Dan Lanning after practice today.
Really good practice today, good competition, some really good back and forth from both sides of the ball and special teams. So good work, excited to attack it.
Mendoza was able to find some success from you guys on the ground. What do you see from your linebackers that need to clean up? I mean, Kylie McGannis is not going to run as much, but he can still run when he needs to. So what do you see there?
Yeah, more than anything, clear, concise rules from the front and the back. You know, those guys got to work together. So it has to be tied together, and we didn't do a good job of coaching that.
Both Bear and Malik kind of said Pancho is maybe a primary leader on this team. I'm curious if you could what his value was this last week and maybe some of his messaging.
Yeah, I mean, Pancho's been consistent throughout the year. He's got a voice that everybody respects. He comes out and works every single day. That hasn't changed, but he's not a guy that's afraid or going to hide back behind and not say what he sees and attack it.
But whether it was miscommunication or just really good defense on Indiana's part in terms of simulated pressures and causes confusion up front, then
you guys know we're playing Rutgers, right? We did Monday press conference already, but go ahead.
But it's something that will come up again. So they're asking for Rutgers.
You watch Rutgers?
Not as heavy as simulated pressure. I'm saying in future games, starting this week and the rest of the season, where do you feel the corrections are this week to what happened last week?
We corrected them. Yeah, we corrected them on Monday. Any other Indiana questions? They played really good, guys. They played really good. They had a better plan than us, and we played that game last Saturday.
You've coached some really good cornerbacks in your career, from Gonzo to Kyrie, Keeley, Eric. Brandon Finney seems like he's on the trajectory to be another really good cornerback. What does he do that's similar to those guys that you've seen from him?
Yeah, he's long. He has great size. I think that's a common trait, and speed. His speed has certainly helped him. Had the shot last weekend that he was able to close on, and then his preparation is second to none. He works really hard, watches a lot of film, works hard on the practice field, strains in practice, and it shows up in the game.
With Brandon, how have you seen him develop in terms of finding his voice and being a leader within that room in the secondary and the corners?
Yeah, I think he's been more of a man of action kind of guy, right? Rather than a guy that's going to have a loud voice. And everybody has to be who they are. But he goes out there and competes, and I think his energy comes from when he's out there making plays.
I just wanted to ask kind of about this running back room, how you do look to rebalance that against Rutgers, what you see from their defense, and how you kind of – because game got away from some of those dynamic backs, Harrah especially, against Indiana. How does that apply to this Rutgers game?
Yeah, again, you go in the game and you say, okay, what fits in your plan and what packages are guys being carried in? Again, we ran the ball really effectively at times in the first half and just didn't come back to that enough in the second half. But running game's a really important piece of what we do, and it'll continue to be a big piece of what we do.
What makes Rutgers' special teams unit really effective?
Yeah, they're extremely aggressive, right? Really aggressive, especially in their punt block unit. Coach Giano has a great history of going after the punter and applying pressure. And it doesn't mean they always get there, but it usually means they create some havoc in the process, right? They also are aggressive in their other units as well. So kickoff, they've done several surprise onside kicks in his career. There's a lot of stuff that our guys had to be prepared for. It's kind of similar to everything they do on their side, right? They're aggressive in all facets.
Their defensive lineman, 99, was certainly really disruptive last year at JMU, has been at times this year. What stands out about him? Yeah,
great technique, can vary his, the technique that he uses. So you have to have an awareness of that. It shows up at different moments. He has good pass rush value, does a lot of good things.
Brandon's recruitment was really tight down on the end, especially with Penn State. I'm curious, with any player who you really have to fight for, do you at some point take a step back and be like, man, I'm really glad that we got them?
Yeah, I'm certainly glad. The guys, you always worry about the ones you get, not the ones you don't. And I'm really glad to see his development, what he's done. But it was a battle for sure, and thrilled that he's here.
How much do you feel like the road trip to Penn State a couple weeks ago just helps you guys prepare for making another cross-country trip this weekend?
Yeah, we've had a couple travel games so far, whether it's Northwestern, Penn State, this one here. I think that we get better every single opportunity we get when we make those arrangements, make the travel arrangements, make small adjustments to make us better.
Yeah, back to Brandon. How quickly did you recognize that he was a guy that could be a player for you immediately?
It didn't take long. It was just going to be more about, okay, how much can he process and, articulate and execute on the field, right? There's a lot that we do, but you could see early that he's a player that's got a chance to play at a high level for us.
Yeah, you're talking about their special teams unit. James Ferguson Reynolds named Ray Guy punter of the week, I think. Just what does he do really well? What's he like in the locker room?
This guy's got juice. He feels like he's a linebacker or a running back out there in the locker room. And he takes a lot of pride in his job and what he does. He's changed the game for us a couple times this season already, whether it's a fake or a great kick there to flip the field. I mean, he's had some really good moments.
Today, after practice, that's head coach Dan Lanning meeting with the media. Last time that we'll hear from Coach before the Toyota Coaches Corner as part of that 10:30 pregame show coming up for us across the Oregon Sports Network on Saturday. Some cross-country honors. Athlete of the Week, Benjamin Malaz from Oregon, a junior out of Portland. He won the Bill Dellinger Invitational 8K. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but now the Big Ten is giving him the honor. U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Association said nationally he was the National Athlete of the Week. Now the Big Ten saying, yeah, if you're the national athlete, you're going to be the Big Ten Athlete of the Week as well. On the women's side, how about the athlete and the freshman of the week in Diana Chirodich from Oregon? A freshman out of Kenya won the women's 6K at the Bill Dellinger Invitational. Not just the National Athlete of the Week, but the Big Ten Athlete and Freshman of the Week. Congratulations to those two Ducks. Coming up, our sideline reporter Dusty Harrah is going to sit down with us, talk about the week that was, the week that is, and we will look to the future a bit, getting ready for Rutgers, a road trip to New Jersey here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, like he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Our Oregon Football Coaches Show is coming up tonight here in the Country Financial Studio. We've got Drew Maringer, co-offensive coordinator and tight ends coach, as well as defensive lineman Bear Alexander, joining myself, Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen here in the Country Financial Studio tonight, 7 o'clock. Across the Oregon Sports Network, on the GoDucks YouTube, on the Oregon Football social media channels as well. Dusty Harrah will be part of that pregame show coming up at 1:30 on Saturday with a 3:30 kickoff televised on Big Ten Network. Dusty and I actually talked yesterday. He comes down on Tuesdays from his day job in Portland. You might be listening on Dusty's radio station up in Portland right now. It's possible. You could be. You might be. And if you are, well, here's the boss, Dusty. It's rare that Dusty and I have done a segment together on this program, on this program, or on our pregame program. It's rare that we have talked after a loss, which is reflective of how good the Ducks have been as long as you've been on the sidelines and roaming around. And it started me thinking, Dusty.
Okay.
What's your record on the sidelines?
My record on the sidelines would be See, this is going to be the ultimate coach speak. You know, you remember the losses more than you remember the wins.
You sure do.
You remember the losses a lot more than you remember the wins.
You sure do.
4 losses in 3 years. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
And then you go 18 plus 12 is 30 and 4. What did it be? 30 and 4?
Yeah, pretty good.
30 and 4.
Pretty good.
Golly.
That's really good. So I just wanted to say that out loud because Dusty's been on the sidelines for an entire season. It filled in a couple times. You know, I don't know. Do those count? Like, is that like when you're an interim head coach? Do you really count that toward the career record? I don't.
No.
You know, I think when you were the permanent sideline guy, it's like, okay, this is when it adds up. And that puts in perspective, I think, so many different things. Do you want to win every game? Absolutely, you want to win every game. Are the coaches and the players mad that it didn't go their way on Saturday? Absolutely. But like Malik Benson said, like some others have said, look, you might have a fire lit under you now. And I just think that over the course of an entire season and in the era that we're in now where you can lose a game and still compete for a national title, just ask last year's national champion, that's why you keep playing the games.
No doubt about it. And I think that is something that, you know, as a fan base, you get accustomed to, well, this is a shock to the system. This is something that is new. And it doesn't happen very often. And the reality of it is that is the sign of the most healthy of football programs. And understanding that, you know, it does feel like when a loss happens that the world is falling. Sure. It's an opportunity. And it golly, I sound like Coach Lanning right there.
Yeah, you do.
It's an opportunity to look at yourself from the inside, right? As a football program, as a fan base, and just kind of realize what you just said right there of the winning and the sustained winning that this Oregon team has had. The losses have been few and far between. And that is something that you tip your hat and you say the preparation, the players, they have been elite here at the University of Oregon, especially the 3 years that I have been on the sidelines for. I think of it too, in that you think of that 4 losses. There have been 3 quarterbacks over that time as
Isn't that
well.
amazing?
And how many programs can say that? But at the same time, anytime a loss happens, you have that guttural reaction of, whoa, what went wrong there? Because it feels so unfamiliar, especially with the way that this team has handled business this season. They have just taken care of business at every single turn. And, you give your credit to Indiana and how well they've played this season, last season. That's a team that they only have 2 losses over the last 2 football seasons, or season and a half now. That's a really dang good football team, and sometimes the ball doesn't go your way, and the outcomes don't go your way.
And now, to turn the page then, right? Like, certainly there's things you learn from a win. Ducks talk about going to the doctor. There's things that you learn from a loss, and as Coach Harrah just put it so well, sounding like a coach, right? That has to be the focus now moving ahead, okay? So, disappointing? Yeah. A chance to improve now on the road against Rutgers. A Rutgers team that, it was interesting. I was listening to Coach Schiano's press conference this week. A lot of the conversation there is about resources at Rutgers and getting Rutgers to be on a level that's similar to what we enjoy here at Oregon, thanks in large part to the great support that comes for a good football team, right? So now go on the road. You can exercise some demons against this Rutgers team.
Yeah, and going on the road and going across the country is not easy.
No.
I mean, it's not easy for anybody. These are long trips. You got to go all the way across the country. But you look at the way that the Ducks have played in these matchups to this point, they've passed those tests with flying colors. And now this Rutgers team, in Coach Schiano's kind of mold of them, they are physical, they are gritty, they are blue collar. They've got a really good running back. They've got some receivers on the outside that can take the top off of defense. You will have your hands full with this Rutgers football team, and that, I think, is the way you want it. I mean, you're not scraping the bottom of the barrel of college football when you're playing this Rutgers team, because Coach Schiano has his guys ready. You look at his track record, what he was able to do at Rutgers his first tenure there. Then he goes and he was the guy who was in the NFL.
Right.
And those guys don't go, that route if you don't know what you're doing. He has a very physical, gritty style of team that will run the ball first, pick and choose your times. They'll try to take shots deep as well.
We're going to have Bear Alexander on the coach's show tonight, and I thought you brought up a good point there with like the run game and stopping the run. That's always important for this team. In the last couple weeks, Bear Alexander in the defensive line, really the whole year, but I think specifically to Bear Alexander, has played so well in stopping the run. I feel like that can be a real key for Oregon's defense. They've talked a lot about it. This is a game where you can demonstrate stopping the run with that defensive front.
No doubt about it. I mean, those guys up front we've seen growth from them too.
Yeah.
Whether it is Amari Washington, Bear Alexander, Tion Gray, Terrence Green, those guys in the middle of the defense, there was this known of what was sitting outside with Tatum Tuioti and Mateo Uiagalelei. But heading into the year, it was, what is the interior looking like? What's that depth chart look like? Rotations. And as the season has progressed, we've seen them kind of get better and better with each week. And I even think in the Indiana game, you go back to the one sack that Oregon got on Fernando Mendoza. It was Amari Washington collapsing the center of that offensive line for Indiana, which is a really good unit, and in getting back to the quarterback. I think those guys have been big, and really, if you want to, drag a team into deep water, that's where it happens, is right in the middle of the interior of the defensive line. Those guys have stepped up, and I think what we've seen from Bear over the last month or so has really popped off the screen to a lot of folks that are watching the Ducks.
He's Dusty Harrah. Sticking on the defense, too, I thought it was cool to see Brandon Finney, even in a loss, have that moment with a pick six. He and DeCorian Moore, I mean, you get a corner and a wide receiver, 2 of the best freshmen in the country. I think, like, On3 had them this week as midseason All-Americans as freshmen, right? Like, freshman All-Americans, that is. I think that those guys deserve, as Coach Lanning would put it, the flowers that they're getting because of the way they've played.
Dude, Brandon Finney is a guy that he is long, he is rangy, quick, he is always seemingly in the right position. I've been really impressed with the way that Finney plays, because it's really hard to play in the back end of a defense. You're on an island out there. It's a lonely place to be at times, and we've seen some of the best defensive backfields in Oregon's history. You go back to the D-boys when the D-boys were all freshmen. There were times where they got picked on. To see Brandon Finney not getting picked on as a true freshman is pretty impressive. Now, were there times that Indiana was going to the edge and they were throwing that timing route over and over again? Yeah, there were.
Right.
But you know what? That's the life of a defensive back.
Yeah.
That is to get that interception and return it for a touchdown the way that he did, where it looked like he was bottled up, but he found a seam, found a crease, gets in the end zone. He has been great all season long. It's good to see a guy get rewarded for consistency over the course of what is now 6 games.
Dusty Harrah roaming the sidelines again this season and talking about after a loss now turning the page to Rutgers. One thing offensively that has stuck out to me as well is Oregon, we've talked about the depth that they have to rotate at corner. The same has been true for the running back. Same has been true for a lot of the skill positions, really, for this Oregon team. I'm curious to see what that rotation looks like this week here moving forward.
Yeah, I think what we've seen is kind of the styles will make the fights, and pending the front, the physicality of a defense, the speed of the defense, we'll see different backs that have kind of trickled into that backfield. But we have seen it starting to kind of get pared down. And Jordan Davison had another true freshman who had a really good game against Indiana with those runs. He had the 26-yard run where, I mean, he lowered his shoulder, spins off a guy, fights for some extra yards. That was an impressive run that he had. Obviously, Noah Whittington and what we know Noah can do and his capabilities. Dier Hill has been the jolt in the arm back out of that backfield, and Jane Lamar has been Mr. Consistency throughout the course of the season.
Well, looking forward now to Rutgers. You talked about the scouting report. I'm going to ask you about the scouting report of New Jersey.
I've never been to New Jersey.
I've never been there either.
I have a cousin that lives in New Jersey.
Actually, that's not true. I have been to New Jersey for a New Jersey Devils game.
Oh, hey.
But rode the train in from the city in New York and then went right back. So I've been in New Jersey for all of like 4 hours in my life.
Okay. More than me. I've been to New York City.
I have too.
I've thought about going over to New Jersey. My cousin just came and visited us in New York City. She's like, "No, you guys are good. You guys, come on out." But I've heard it's beautiful. Bruce Springsteen is from there.
Okay.
Right? And
okay,
James Gandolfini is a Rutgers alum. I know that. I really my New Jersey knowledge is not good.
Okay, so here's
not my strong suit at all.
This is a fun piece of the Big Ten.
I've seen the movie The Garden State.
So here. Well done. Well done. Now, Rutgers is known as the birthplace of college football.
That it is.
Right?
That it is.
First ever intercollegiate game, Rutgers-Princeton.
That's right.
November 6th of 1869. The game of football looked a little bit different there. My question then for you is, that was like the fact that I knew about Rutgers.
That's right.
Going into this week, okay, was the birthplace of college football in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Okay.
That's pretty cool.
So as a football junkie, that's where I ask you, is that the thing for you?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah, that is. That's really cool.
Okay.
That makes me excited. I love college football too. So this is even that makes my heart warm.
Right.
With a little bit of football history, we get to go see it.
Do you know what the score was?
Do I want to know what the score was? It's going to be wonky because some scoring was different back then. I'm going to say 6-4.
It was 6-4. Yeah!
I didn't know that.
6-4. Who won?
Princeton.
Rutgers.
Dang.
Rutgers got the win in an absolute slog.
Yeah. All right.
6-4. First ever college football game. This is what I know of Rutgers. I don't know much more than that.
No, but I do know that they've had some really good. They've had really good players coming out of Rutgers. Ray Rice. You had the twins, McCourty twins in the back end of their defense. Tommy Cutlets, the quarterback for Rutgers, who played for the Giants. They've had some good players that have come out of there.
Right.
And obviously the birthplace of football. I'm excited.
So here's
Shiano Ball.
Here's something that was interesting in my, the history lesson, if you will. That the game had rules, and you probably know this more than I do. The game had rules closer to soccer and rugby compared to what we see as American football. For example, players could kick the ball with their hands, feet, heads, and sides. So you could like slap the ball around.
All right.
But you could not carry the ball, nor could you throw the ball. That
doesn't sound like
is
football.
that is how you get to a 6-4 game between Rutgers and the College of New Jersey, is what Princeton was called at the time.
Oh, all right. Okay. You said with your side, so like you
it's
just
like a
like
hip check.
just throwing yourself into the ball.
I guess.
I like modern football a little bit better.
I like modern football a lot better.
I like it.
And I should say, like, this game is often referred to as the first, but of course it led to the development of the sport that we now know and love. This is what I know of Rutgers. I look forward to learning more.
And that's the cool thing about the Big Ten now is it's going to take some time for the Ducks to trickle into all of these other Big Ten cities, and to go to Rutgers, the birthplace of college football, to have a night game there. It's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. And it's a good Rutgers team, right? I mean, they're going to be well coached. They are an ascending kind of team.
What are some of your keys?
Well, the big one is just like it has nothing to do with what you do on the field. It has everything to do with your response to unfamiliar territory. And what that is coming off of a loss. It has traveling across the country. It has the preparation that it takes, because all of those things we have seen in the world of college football are really hard things to do. And it is really unfamiliar for this Oregon team to go through this in the regular season, because it has been so long since that happened. And how many guys have played meaningful snaps for the last regular season loss for Oregon? It's not a whole heck of a lot of them. And those things are the ones that is nothing that happens between the white lines. That is everything about the preparation in the week leading up to it, and how you're kind of wired. And one thing that we do know from these guys and Coach Lanning, the staff, and the way that these guys always talk about, all right, it's about the next snap, the next opportunity, the next play. I expect them to be ready for that.
He's Dusty Harrah, our sideline reporter, and he will be roaming the hallowed grounds.
Dude, I'm excited. I'm so pumped now.
I'm glad I could help you.
6-4. Don't forget that.
6-4. Yeah, Rutgers, the first ever victory in college football.
Dude, my wife is going to be so mad because I forget. Like, she asked me to do something, and it's like I forget it in 5 minutes. But somewhere in the depths of my brain, 6-4 was. I saw that at some point.
You nailed it.
I forgot who won, though.
Yeah,
and that kind of sums me up.
But look, 50%. If you bat 500 in baseball, you're doing great.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, 50% on a math test, not as good, though.
Not as good. Not as good. He's Dusty Harrah. He'll be part of our pregame show coming up on Saturday with a 3:30 kickoff. That means a 1:30 pregame show for us across the Oregon Sports Network. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Jaden Kennedy was Dusty's player guest. We talked to him on Tuesday. That's coming up. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can subscribe to the Oregon Sports Network podcast. Put the pregame interviews as part of our 2-hour-long network pregame show there every Saturday morning. We'll have it for you as part of that 1:30 pregame. Also, James Ferguson Reynolds. Ryan Milano sat down with the Oregon punter, who was honored by the Ray Guy Award as the punter of the week. That's all coming as part of that pregame. Up next, we're going to sit down with Bear Alexander tonight. Also, Bear Alexander talking at the podium. That's coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide arms for this wayward son?
Duck Insider is presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Tonight, Bear Alexander will join us in the Country Financial Studio. He also met with the media up at the podium after practice this week, getting ready for a matchup with Rutgers. Bear Alexander talking here.
Dan said things have kind of clicked for you the last couple of weeks. I wonder if you could go through what the start of the season was like, and maybe if there are things that have changed for you that have allowed you to be so successful the last couple of games.
No, at the beginning, man, it was just a lot of stuff I was still growing from. We just prepared every day, being pushed by Coach T, Coach Tosh, just having elite preparation to get to this point and to continue to execute.
Bear, under Dan Lanning here at Oregon, this team has never lost back-to-back games. I'm just wondering, at practice this week, what kind of have you seen from Coach Lanning and the rest of the squad that you guys feel confident that's going to stay the same heading to this weekend?
This one definitely lit a fire up on our coaches. I'm sure the players too. We back to work. It's a work week. We got to grow from it, learn from it, continue to get better as the season goes on.
You guys are one of 6 FBS defenses that has allowed a field goal or a touchdown every time the opposing team's gotten to the red zone. Is that something that you guys have seen, and is that something that you guys are working to improve?
Yeah, it's definitely something we're working to improve. Of course, adding to the jumbo and big base package is something we definitely getting better at.
You've certainly been disruptive. Some of the other interior D linemen in particular also disruptive, tackles for loss. But how do you feel like as a defense you guys are coming along creating more havoc? How can you create even more as a defense, particularly in the front seven?
Just continuing to get better and sharpen our toolbox. As a front, we pride ourselves on taking the path of least resistance. So just continuing to get better, man, and pushing each other.
What was the message from Coach Tuioti to you early on in the year to kind of get you where you are now?
Just take it one day at a time. There's no rush to success. Just take it one day at a time. Continue to be a good person, man. Keep treating your teammates good and the guys in the room, and it all pan out.
You talked a lot about needing to grow and continuing to experience that. Where do you feel like this D-line still needs to grow following this weekend's loss? Where do you guys need the most improvement?
Just continuing to tear out blocks, man, and just sticking to our fundamental techniques, just sticking to our D-line code, and just continuing to tear out blocks.
What stands out about their running back, number 3? What makes him unique?
He's electric. He's probably one of the best running backs we have faced this year.
Of the opponents you'll play in the league, this is the team that passes the most thus far, just as an interior lineman. How exciting is that to play a team who this is the opponent who would pass the most? You guys don't play Maryland or Purdue during the regular season, so when you're trying to get after the quarterback, it seems like there would be potential opportunities for that. How exciting is that for you as a player?
It's exciting anytime we get the opportunity, man, to get after this guy. We definitely want to increase our amount of sacks we got as a whole up front, so it'll be a good opportunity to get after these guys.
In college football 10 years ago, if you're a team with national championship aspirations, if you have a loss, that's kind of it for you. And that's not the case in today's college football. I'm curious, when you guys are coming off a loss like Saturday, did that feel like it was a massive kind of moment for you guys in this season, or is it something that you guys believe that you'll be able to kind of
Yeah, it's just something we can't let linger, man. We can't down ourselves on it. You know, those guys, obviously, Indiana's a good team. They played a cleaner game than us, so just something we got to shake back from, improve, get better as a group, come out ready to kick ass.
Who've been some of maybe the leaders coming out of this loss, and maybe some players that have stepped up and kind of shared some things?
Man, Dante, Pancho, of course, in that running back room, you know, those younger guys are stepping up. JD, Dier. Man, this team is full of leaders.
I thought that was cool to hear that from a guy who has been a part of a couple different programs in Bear Alexander. We'll hear more from Bear coming up tonight on the Oregon Football Coaches Show. When we return, Tracy Joyner sitting down with the Oregon soccer head coach after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, so good to see you real.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon soccer coming off a trip where there was some good, but they're still searching for these wins. They generated some chances against a team in Ohio State that's allowed only 4 goals over the course of the season, number 22 team in the country. Ducks fell 1-0 there and had some opportunities to win that game. Then fast forward to Sunday. Carly Cormack scores 2 goals in the first 13 minutes of the contest. Ducks are up 2-1, waning minutes. An injury to a defender. Ultimately, Penn State scores on a penalty kick to tie the game. Ducks draw Penn State 2-2. So some frustrations for sure, but we broke it all down with Tracy Joyner ahead of senior weekend for Oregon soccer. Tracy Joyner, I almost said football. For the rest of the world, it's football. Duck soccer head coach Tracy Joyner. Time to talk a little bit of soccer ahead of a homestand coming up on Thursday against Wisconsin at 6 o'clock. We're looking back with head coach Tracy Joyner, kind enough to join us in the Country Financial Studio. Coach, okay. You want to win every game. I get that. Now, as the broadcaster here, I will just say, those were some battles that your team was in over the weekend. Take us through a 1-0 loss to number 22 Ohio State and a 2-2 draw to Penn State on your road trip.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State, number 22 in the country, I think when we played them, they'd given up 4 goals all season. So we knew it was going to be, a test for us to get one in, and it certainly was. They did a great job. But, again, theme of the year, we continue to create really great opportunities. We had a couple chances to win it, for sure, very clear opportunities, and fortunately just couldn't get it done. And they're a very, very good attacking team as well, really good in transition. And so, our main scout was like, we got to be really, really good on both sides of the ball, get numbers up in the attack, and then on the other side, like make sure we get as many numbers as we can behind the ball. And I thought we did a really fantastic job. Like, I don't think anyone walked away from that game. Disappointed, obviously, doesn't feel good to lose ever, right. But I think like proud of the way that we played, especially on the road, and the things that we did really well. It was probably one of the most complete games we played start to finish in terms of executing the game plan, and, focusing on the little things. So, yeah, I was happy about that result. As happy as you can be in that circumstance. But
well, and maybe I can jump in there. Like, I mean, that is something with your sport. Like, you can dominate and lose 1-0. Yeah. Like that's just sometimes the way that it bounces with if one team gets a set piece and you don't, right? I mean, that's the beauty and frustration of soccer.
Sure. And like their goal was great. I mean, and Ohio State is great. Like that game, I walked away being like, that could have gone either way, which is a good feeling, I think, feeling like you could have done enough to win it. You could have gotten a tie out of it, but like they earned that win also. Like they had a really, really, great finish. It was a special finish, and we had numbers behind the ball. We were good pressure. So it was just kind of, again, a special player doing a special thing. And that's two games in a row where it's kind of, we haven't been able to capitalize on those moments, but other teams have. And again, it's a good thing to like learn and grow from. But yeah, to turn around and travel to Penn State was we knew it was going to be a test and a battle. That's one of the best teams in the country consistently. They've won 20 Big Ten championships and an NCAA championship. So, playing there was, we got to train during their football game, and kind of got to relish in the fact that, a week prior, we were there, the Ducks in the stands, and doing a thing. So yeah, it was actually kind of cool. But
so like you were in the shadow of Beaver Stadium.
Oh yeah,
training.
Yeah, right there, next to it. Yeah. So we got to see all the tailgates and some things pop up because of that. But yeah, no, it was good. It was
what an experience that must have been for so many reasons.
It was. There was crowds walking to the game in and out. So yeah, it was good though. Good preparation for knowing what the fans are going to be like and all the things. So, no, but it was, I can honestly say that, and I told the team this morning in film when we were breaking down the things that we do well and the things that we need to, improve upon. We do the same thing every game, or after every game, I should say. And it was helpful because the player's perspective is so it's so honest and it's so pure, where like they're seeing the same things. And something like for me, the takeaway really after that weekend and specifically after the Penn State game was that like when you're moving into playoffs at this point in the season, like we're exactly where you want to be, in the sense that as a team, this was the best performance, and you want to peak at this time in the season when you are, playoff projected. And like, granted, we're not really there, but like to see the growth that's taken place throughout the season and see us come together and, do the little things well finally, because that's really what impacts, was awesome to see. And I think just something for us to build on, and the foundation's really been set. And so we know moving forward, like, we have a much different starting off point now than we did when we first started the season moving into 26.
Well, and I'm curious, even like in the microcosm with that in mind of this weekend, like you generated some chances against a good defensive team that allowed 4 goals in Ohio State. And then you kind of jumped Penn State, scoring 2 early. Like, take fans through that progression, like, and what that must have felt like to be up, in the 13th minute, you're up 2.
Yeah.
You have 2 on the board.
Yeah, no, it was big time. And I think, again, like to my earlier point, when the players stepped on the field, I felt like there was such a cohesive effort to execute a very specific game plan. And they did that so well that like they were rewarded with 2 goals in the first 13 minutes or whatever it was. And like Carly Cormack was unbelievable in this game. She's been unbelievable since the Big Ten started, and I was really happy for her just to see her hard work pay off. And we've asked so much of her, and just to see her get a brace against one of the best teams in the country was awesome. But yeah, I mean, just we stepped onto the field with so much intentionality behind what we were going to do, and then for it to go the way we always hope it does, was so impactful and so powerful that I think obviously it sustained us for another, whatever it was, 87 minutes, you know, and it's disappointing, you know, how it ended, but I think we were all really proud of the result in general, because I had just said earlier that morning, ties on the road, points on the road are still a result that we want, and we need to be better at fighting for ties versus accepting losses because of focus errors.
Interesting.
So,
well, and you think about, like, you get the point, right? Like in your standings, right? In soccer, you get the point. Like, that is valuable on the road. You don't get a lot of road ties. Or I should say road wins in soccer. Ties are a little more common, I suppose.
no doubt. And I mean, obviously for us, like, we've been trying to get ties and not losses, but this one hurt a little bit more because we were going to we had the win and got the tie. So it stung a little bit, you know, in some ways, but obviously the redeeming factor is that we got a point on the road.
Right. Well, and to dial in on that for fans, we reviewed it earlier this week on the show, but now just for context for how you and the coaching staff handle it, like, you have a significant injury that occurs very late in a game. You're leading 2-1. You have to change things around quickly. You try to hold on. Credit to Penn State. A good team finds a way to score. Like, what's that like as a coach in that, 5 to 15 minute period of time? I mean, that's a lot to manage, I guess.
It is, especially without, like, timeouts. You know, we're
Right.
not a sport that you get to, like, stop and talk to your team. And actually, there's so much that happened in the last 5 minutes of that game between, you know, we had someone go down with a head injury. We had someone go down with a cramp. There's a PK and then another center back injury from that moment, you know, and so there's a lot to manage. And, you know, like, that's why versatility is so important with your players, where, you know, you're always thinking, okay, if this happens, then, like, this happens. And, you know, these are the adjustments that we can make there. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely an intense moment. And actually with those stoppages, it gave us some time to, you know, focus on some of the details that we knew were potentially going to come up.
And even just breathe a little.
And that's it. And especially because, like, they were coming at us. I mean, they made 3 different formation changes in the second half, which was kind of awesome, you know, for our team to be like, they were trying to figure out a way to break us down and they couldn't. You know, and so that was really powerful and just some confidence building there.
Well, how about the confidence building too? I'm curious now moving forward. Like, you don't want to allow the late goal, but maybe I'll ask you about the offense first. Like, Carly's work pays off. You mentioned that. I'm glad. I was going to bring that up to you. Like, that was cool to see. Like, the chances went in, Coach.
They did, and, like, we did not have it on our, you know, bingo card that Carly Cormack was going to score a back post header goal and then score a breakaway, you know, where she, like, bends the ball around the keeper and near post, you know, off of a breakaway. So yeah, it was awesome. And that hurt. Carly's second goal was just like an all heart goal because she had intercepted a pass, like, on our own half and then, like, committed to seeing the play through. And just, like, one of the biggest focuses that we've had is just being really opportunistic and, like, assume the ball is going to land at your feet, assume it's going to get played where it needs to go, because we've been, like, hesitating in those moments. So, like, the timing of our runs have been off. So that's been a really key focus for us in film, is, like, had you done this at full speed, then we would have had a different result potentially. Right. And so they executed, like, they saw that. And, like, you know, we were laughing today on film. I was like, you know, Addison Boyer, we've been on her to, like, make sure that she does everything at full speed. And so she made this one run today on film, and I literally, like, caps lock, like, Addison Boyer, yes. And I was like, I know you were thinking about, I don't want to get slow mode on film again for not moving at the right pace, you know. And she was like, she's like, you're so right. And I was like, I know. And I'm like, I just little hint of fear. And she did a great job. Like, they all did so well. I was so proud of them.
It's almost like to take the analytics approach, you know, like the broadcast nerd of sports that we are, right? Like, you're adding percentage points to a successful outcome. Right, and that it seems like those percentage points, they did break through for you in this game.
They did, and it's crazy because, like, obviously soccer is not a super, like, stat-driven sport. So subjective. Like, to your point, like, you can outshoot a team 20-1 and lose 1-0. Like, so it doesn't always work out like that. But, like, the things that you can stat in, like, those really small details, when you actually focus on doing just the little things well that aren't necessarily things that you stat or you would ever stat, that's actually what wins you games. Is, like, that extra effort and just doing things at full speed, showing the correct angle, playing the correct foot with the correct weight of pass. Like, those aren't measurable things outside of just subjectively looking at film and analyzing. So yeah, we were really happy to see that get played out today, or today, whatever, on Sunday.
Back at home, 6 o'clock against Wisconsin at Pape Field on Thursday, and then on Sunday, Minnesota's in town for a noon start. What's the report on your opposition coming into town?
Wisconsin's big time. I mean, they both are. Obviously, everyone in the Big Ten is very good. But yeah, Wisconsin's going to be another, attacking threat. They've got 3 really, really great strikers and Wisconsin's a winning program. They know how to win. They've had a ton of success, and they're in the top of the table right now. So they've got a lot to play for. It's going to be a battle for sure. I think it's expected heavy rain maybe. So, welcome to Oregon.
That's right.
We're excited about that. No, I think, they're a really talented team, and we're going to expect another battle. But again, I think we've gotten confident, and there's a lot of growth that's taken place. So I think we're ready for them. We'll be as ready as we can be, and hopefully, we've got players that were injured that are going to be back on the field for us. And then Sunday is Senior Day. We're going to celebrate our seniors, and Minnesota, I think, is a game that, we are looking forward to every game. But being back at home is nice after 2 pretty long road trips. And, I think we're just going to continue to fight and raise the standard and raise the expectation for our team and continue building.
Yeah, Senior Day. I was going to ask you about that next week. Try not to ask about it ahead of time because the emotions start to run rampant on Senior Day.
Well, Senior Day, I mean, it is emotional for sure, but it is also just like I try to do it as like a celebration rather than like an ending to something. That. So, we're excited to celebrate our seniors.
Looking forward to it. Homestand at Pepe Field. Both matchups are on Big Plus and on KWVA. Head coach Tracy Joyner. What did we miss? Anything else fans should know?
I don't think so. No, we're ready.
That's a good interview. Thanks, Coach.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. I do really appreciate Tracy Joyner. I mean, look, let's be honest. It started out hot, scored 4 goals. They dealt with injuries all season long, have continued to deal with injuries. Results haven't gone their way, but you hear it in her voice, like some things to build on, right? Some things to build on. Now being at home, I think they're going to get a couple here down the stretch. Confidence feels a little higher around the team. They're meeting with the media here today as well. We'll have some interviews for you tomorrow. Women's basketball is meeting with the media as well as we get ready for hoop season. I saw somebody in the YouTube comments like, basketball? Basketball? I got to tell you, I went to men's basketball practice yesterday. I've been going to men's basketball practice, and I went yesterday, and I was like, who's that sitting up there in row 10? I'll tell you that when we come back. Basketball season's approaching here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
are wrapping up Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I got to see Luke Jackson yesterday. How about that? Luke Jackson and Bev Smith, a pair of Oregon basketball legends, a pair of University of Oregon Athletics Hall of Famers, members of the Oregon Athletics Hall of Fame Selection Committee. They are back for another year as our analysts on the Oregon Sports Network. Bev Smith will once again join Chris Clayton, and Luke Jackson's going to join me next Friday. Oregon facing Utah in an exhibition next Friday. A great warm-up for all Oregon fans with Wisconsin at Autzen Stadium next Saturday. Our first Oregon basketball broadcast. We will do the exhibition. We're not going to do a pregame show or a postgame show. We'll save those for the opener, the counting opener. But we'll be on the air. Hope to see some fans at Matthew Knight Arena. Ducks taking on Utah. Myself, Luke Jackson, got a chance to take in some basketball practice. And a lot of people have been asking me, like, hey, what's it going to be like without Jackson Shellstad? If you missed the news, he is a little banged up heading into the season. Certainly that impacts some things, and it gives opportunities to some other guys. Returners like Nate Biddle, a returner like KJ Evans, Kwame Evans Jr. The Ducks have done a really nice job, at least from what I've observed in practice, complementing those returners with some really, I think, valuable players. I think about a Devon Pryor, who it can just be a sharpshooter at times coming in from Texas. A few big guys like Miles Stewart, who can be a real rim protector. And then I think about guys like Ezekiel Demir, Ege, as they call him, F.A. Vatan, who have come in, some foreign players with experience playing overseas that just have a veteran presence to them. And then Wei Lin, who was like the MVP of the Chinese Basketball League last year. Now he's here playing collegiate basketball. The Ducks are an older roster than maybe we all might think, simply because of the overseas experience. Now, D1 college basketball, a little different style of play. I tell you, I think it's a more veteran team maybe than people are going to realize. Kai Simpkins coming in from Elon. They call him TK. I'm excited to see what this team looks like next Friday. Luke is too. Basketball season's going to be here before you know it. Tomorrow, we're talking with the voice of the Scarlet Knights, Chris Carlin. Also, some more Oregon football student-athletes previewing the road trip to New Jersey. See you tonight for the Coaches Show.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a